Alright, hey everyone, and welcome to DIY Crafts. So right now we are going to be making some beeswax candles, and I am not doing this correctly. Alright, here we go. So I have a bunch of beeswax straight from my backyard hive that is currently sitting on the stove in a pot of water, and then there's a tin bowl, much like this one but bigger, in here. So I can't put beeswax directly over a flame because it's really flammable. So what I am doing is I am melting it in a double boiler, and I have it on low medium heat, so it's kind of simmering over the stove here. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to melt about 1 pound of beeswax to make approximately 3 candles. So the benefit of making beeswax candles is beeswax is something that you can get from your local beekeeper. You can also buy on Amazon. Echo. And it's basically an air purifier. So it purifies the air naturally. Give me 1 second. Let me just deal with that. Cool it. Get. Alright. Dog crisis averted. So, the beeswax is a natural air purifier, super cool. You can add essential oils to it directly. Also, if you're making a beeswax candle, it's almost as easy as just melting the wax and pouring it into a jar. That's all you really have to do. If you want to jazz up your beeswax candle, what you can do is you can add a little bit of coconut oil. So right now I have 1 pound of beeswax in the double boiler melting. I then have a half a cup of coconut oil that I'm going to add to this once it's fully melted. And what the coconut oil allows you to do is the coconut oil kind of helps retain that essential oil and helps absorb the essential oil, so when you burn it, you can actually smell the essential oil. Out. I also have a little bit of honey residue in my beeswax, and if you get beeswax from a regular beekeeper, you're going to have that there anyway. So you don't even really need to scent your beeswax candle. It'll, once you burn it, it'll smell like honey, and it has a really nice aroma to it naturally. But of course, if you want to scent it with some cinnamon, you want to scent it with some vanilla, pick your essential oil. Anywhere between 8 to 10 drops of essential oil will work perfectly. And like I said, you don't have to add coconut oil to it. You can just add straight beeswax and that works fine. The only thing to watch out for is if you are doing a beeswax candle, you do have to keep an eye on what size wick you're going to need. So for the half-pint mason jars, which is what I'm using a number 4 wick, and you can find these on Amazon. You can find these at your local craft store that'll tell you it's number 4, and that's just the thickness of the wick. Beeswax requires a thicker wick because it burns so hot. If you have a smaller wick, unfortunately what's going to happen is your wick's going to burn and your candle's not going to burn at all, just the wick will burn. So I've gone ahead and straightened some of these wicks already in my jar, and all I did was dip this wick in my beeswax and then just push it down so it settles right there. And then I just rolled the stick in the center. And I'll show you guys that too. So I'm just rolling the wick in the center. And all that's doing is helping, so when I go to pour the wax, the candle wick stays in the center. That way I don't have one side of my candle burning and not the other. So the stick you'll leave all the way until the candle is ready to burn, pretty much. And again, that just helps you center the wick, that's all. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead. My wax is pretty much done melting. I have quite a bit of honey in here, which will be kind of interesting. I really like the way that the honey burns, so, well, the honey smells when the candle burns. You'll see that the wax is super, super yellow. Alrighty. So I do have a bit of cinnamon essential oil, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave 2 candles just the way they are, and then I'm going to take some cinnamon essential oil. You can get essential oils at Walmart, craft shops, Amazon, wherever. I'm just going to use this one, just a little bit of cinnamon, and I'm going to go ahead and put probably 8 to 10 drops in there. And cinnamon in itself is super potent, so it should be pretty good. So if you're not one that really enjoys smells, I would leave the candle just the way it is. It smells delightful just as is, especially with that honey flavor. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna turn my heat down. I'm gonna grab my oven mitt so I don't burn myself. And I'm gonna go ahead and just add my 1/2 cup of coconut oil. And then I use a stick just because I don't want to contaminate any of my silverware. Just gonna stir that all in. So if you have one of those old school coffee tins, those are great for this because then you can use the coffee tin as opposed to buying aluminum tins like I did. And I'm dedicating these tins to this project, so I'm not too worried about ruining it. Alright, so here goes. My essential oil is in one of my things. I have beeswax and I have coconut oil. This is what the wax looks like. Kind of looks like honey. And I'm just going to go ahead and pour in the wax until my candle is full. So smell the cinnamon too. It's delightful. There's 2. Something to note too, you'll notice that I'm pouring this over a piece of plastic, or I don't know if you can see that, but I'm pouring this over a piece of plastic. That way, if I do make a mess, it's easy to clean up. Wax is not very forgiving. It's really difficult to clean up the mess. So for whatever reason, if you can, do it over a surface you are not concerned about. Alright, so at the bottom of this container, I have a bunch of honey, and I'm just going to toss that honey. You do not want it. It's a little bit of honey and a little bit of, it looks like propolis, which is bee glue. So I'm going to discard that. I'm going to go ahead and put my pot back on there, and I'll clean it up afterwards. Easy way to clean your pot if you ever need to. If you put it back in the pan, you can just wipe it out with a paper towel. It cleans up super easy. So now all we're going to do is we are going to wait ever so patiently for the beeswax to dry and or to cool. And once it's fully set, you're good to go. You can light your candle. I'm just going to show you real quick. Give me just a second. I'll show you real quick what a finished product looks like. So if you decide that you want a colored candle, you don't want regular plain Jane beeswax color, you can go ahead and color it with a crayon. So I just wanted to point that out. any leftover crayons you have. So I have a bunch of pieces. I have red, I have yellow, I have orange. What I could do is while the wax is melting, just dump a candle in there, dump a crayon in there. The crayon is made of wax, it'll melt and it'll color your candle. So for this candle, I did a layered candle. It was green, yellow, green. The green has since burned down, but this is pretty much the finished product. So once it's all said and done, it burns really nicely. All right. And it smells really good too. So there it is. That's your very simple, very easy way to make beeswax candles. All you need is a pound of beeswax and a half a cup of coconut oil. It'll make 3 mason jars, 3 half-pint mason jars. And all you have to do is let them cool and ta-da, voila, you have your own candle. Again, you can color it with crayon. You cannot color it with food coloring, just keep that in mind, unless it's powdered food coloring. So coloring it with crayon is probably your easiest bet, and you can layer it. So add a layer of yellow, let it cool for a bit, add a layer of red, let it cool for a little bit, and that's how you can make a really cool layered candle. Tune in next week. Next week I'm going to teach you once again, using beeswax, how to make your own lip balm. And again, it's going to focus on those same 2 ingredients. You're going to need beeswax and you're going to need coconut oil. And if you want to get really fancy, you can use some shea butter. And then essential oil to make it pop. So if you tune in next week, I'll show you guys how to do that. Hopefully you like this quick, easy candle recipe. You can find beeswax on Amazon. You can contact your local beekeeper. Worcester County Beekeepers Association is on Facebook, and you can contact them and see if anybody has wax to sell if you're interested. Coconut oil you can get at the store, you can get on Amazon, totally your choice. Same thing with the essential oil, you can get on Amazon or the store. Super easy, super fun. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you next week.